Raise your hand, we'll get a microphone to you.
John, could you talk about the defensive effort in the first 20 minutes? Was it a product of what you guys were doing, or was LSU just missing shots?
I think it was a little bit of the combination of both, but I'd like to think that we had a lot to do with that. We wanted to come out with the mindset of being aggressive both offensively and defensively. Our practices the last few days have been really good, and our guys are picking up the intensity in practice. Although we're not practicing as long, they're starting to communicate better, and I think that's helping. They missed some open shots, but I think we made them take tougher shots than they were used to.
Coach, it seemed like Eloy was a whole lot more involved in the game and a whole lot more aggressive, like you said before, but what was he kept going back and forth with Coach about something, it seemed like on the bench. Was it because of what he was doing on the floor, or was there something wrong?
I think a lot of it, he just wants to make sure that he's understanding what Coach is saying. He was much more aggressive. He's putting in extra time in practice. We need him to come up with balls. That's the biggest thing. There were still a few that he didn't get, but he's making progress, and it's going to be a factor at some point in time in the year.
John, over here.
Okay.
I know it's a small sample size as far as 2 games, but what's the difference in energy level with Terrence coming off the bench? What do you see as far as getting off to those fast starts you guys have had?
Well, we got off to a fast start today because we made shots. I don't really think it matters if Terrence comes off the bench or Duran comes off the bench. It just so happens that, that's the way it's been the last few games. I think both kids accept it. But the reason we got off to a fast start is we made some shots. Our press was much more effective today, and that got our energy level up. And our guys are starting to pick up the press a little bit, so we're feeling more comfortable that we can use it more often.
John, could you talk about how you feel you guys have settled into your roles, and also about the way that DeAndre played today?
I've had the same role for 14 years. You mean me or these guys?
Some of the other guys are a little younger than you.
Oh, okay. No, I think that they all know their role now. I think it starts with Brandon. He's going to be able to score at any time. Doesn't have to get it all at once. Being much more vocal on the floor in practice and is carrying over into games. I think our older guys are really showing our young guys what it takes. But the biggest thing is our communication in practice has just really carried over. And you could tell that we had fresh legs today. As I mentioned earlier to another group, is that this is the point in time where our practice time cuts back a little bit because we want them to be fresh for games. And I think that was quite evident tonight.
Talk about DeAndre.
I think DeAndre, Coach just said it in the locker room. Sometimes he's thinking pass first too much when we want him to score. And when he's driving the ball, he's driving to get fouled instead of trying to drive to score. Overall, I think we feed off him defensively. I think he's that emotional, quiet leader that we need because he comes up with all the little plays, and he's a really intelligent player out there on the floor, especially on the defensive end where he's telling guys what to do.
John, forgive me if you've been asked. I got here late, but can you talk about John Hood and how he contributed to this game?
Well, I was happy for him today because he played more aggressively. He went after balls instead of shying away from them. And I think that that's a big thing with him. It didn't matter if he knocked down a shot. The big play for him and his confidence should have been him grabbing that offensive rebound and sticking it back in. And you know what? He had fun out there tonight, and I think that was important for him. And it was nice to see him get extended minutes.
John, to your right, this would seem to have been one of the more consistent efforts for Darius Miller. Just to us, what did you guys think?
I thought Darius played well. He didn't fade on any shots. The last couple games prior to this, he was fading on shots in the lane. Uses athleticism. He did that. He rebounded the ball well. Until we watch the tape, one thing that we've stressed to him the last couple of days is staying in the stance, staying low. I thought he did better, but can only tell once we watch the film. We need him to, I guess the key word to this whole thing is being aggressive, and I think he was that tonight.
John, towards the end of January, 1st of February, sometimes the younger guys kind of hit a wall a little bit with the extended season. Can you talk about how they're doing with that? And you talk a little more about Brandon and his play, how he's doing right now?
Well, I don't think that we're anywhere near hitting a wall. There's so much basketball to be played with 13 more league games to be played. And now you sort of get into a routine with playing on Tuesdays and Saturdays. There's sort of a schedule that we follow now. But the great thing what Coach does is he keeps their legs fresh. He's more concerned about our team than the opponent, no matter who we're playing. That's a big thing. I mean, we still go through our thorough scouting reports and whatnot to prepare. But he's concerned about the adjustments that we need to make and working on our weaknesses and continuing to get better. With Brandon, he's starting to make such better decisions. He had a couple, lapses today, but that's gonna happen. He's cutting down on those. He's leading the team. He's making better decisions. He's being more vocal, and I think that's true with any freshman point guard, especially the freshman point guards that we've had in the past. But the thing that separates him is that he can knock down shots, and he set the tone for us tonight offensively.
John, here in the back. In what way has this week helped you guys as far as being prepared for going back out on the road in the SEC?
I think it's too early to tell. Hopefully the young group understands that no matter what building we go in, that it's going to be sold out. And generally, it's the only sellout of the year for some of these other schools that we go to. How hard it is to play, how hard you have to play, and how much you have to stick together. We made that comeback at Georgia, down 11 to go up 1. Were they satisfied just getting to that point? We don't know, but we didn't play our style of basketball at that point in time. Typically, one of our teams that does that, that's when you really hit gut check, and that's when you suck it up and you pull out the tough win. That's what you have to do on the road.
2 more questions.
You guys, Stringer struggled for them. Were you guys focused on him in particular to try to contain him, or what happened there?
Well, that's one of the reasons that Cal really likes big guards. Our size gave him issues. When you're shooting over DeAndre Liggins at 6'5" with long arms and big hands, that makes it tough, and he can get up in you, and he's quick enough to stay in front of you. He was one of the guys that we were keen on. That's not a true LSU team because they were without Turner, their leading scorer, who was a very good player. And watching film, he makes a difference for their team. Just with you take off your leading scorer, it's going to hurt you at some point in time. And unfortunately, he didn't play. But they're improved, and I know they're probably disappointed, but they are getting better for sure.
John, how much did preparation play a role in attacking their zone early tonight, or was it just simply making shots?
I will say this, and I know I'm biased, but we talk about our dribble drive against man-to-man. I don't know why people don't look what we do against zone, because I think our zone offensive looks are terrific. I think that's one thing that I certainly give Cal credit for. His zone offense is great, and we've seen it all, every type of zone. Yeah, you have to make shots, but we're getting the balls to the right things. We know if we know what type of zone they're in, we can attack it, and it's tough to zone us because we can spread you out, and we have 4 guys that can make shots, and we did that tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.